okay? And why is frequency important? Frequency, first of all, what does it mean? How often something occurs, okay? So how many times? So I can think about how many times during the course of this presentation I have said probably. How many times during the course of this excuse me, presentation have I said the word corpus? And knowing that it's been recorded and knowing that it might be automatically transcribed, we could actually search and see how many times has Aisling used the word corpus, and how many times has she used the word corpora, and how many times has she used the word corpuses. I can tell you now that the word corpuses will be very low in the list of frequencies. It's not a word that I'm awfully fond of saying, and my mouth is not awfully fond of saying it either. But frequency, it's how many times something occurs. Why is this important? Why is this a core concept in corpus linguistics? Well, going back to what I mentioned before about how placing language and meaning in its situated context of use is central. What we discovered when we do that is that the meaning of a word is affected by the company that it keeps. Okay. Now that's a very old reference to Firth in 1956. The meaning of a word is affected by the company that it keeps. If you want to stop for a minute, just think about the word blue in English. Like blue, blue. Straight away, you're thinking about your dictionary definition of color, right? But that might not be what I was thinking of. I might have been thinking about blues music. I might have been thinking about a phrase, black and blue. I might have been thinking about
feeling.
What else? I don't know. Feel free, anybody to come.
Feelings,
absolutely. Yes, feeling blue.
Feeling blue.
Yes. Feeling blue, absolutely. Yes.
Can I say feeling red? Can I say feeling red?
Exactly.
Feeling red.
Exactly.
Feeling
it's
red.
Like I'm on fire. I'm feeling red.
Flame.
Yes.
Feeling red is in flame, on fire.
On fire.
Full of
really
fire.
And that's a really interesting example, Liddy, because in English there is the phrase, feeling blue, meaning you're feeling sad. But in English, the equivalent, I'm not feeling red, I'm feeling very red. And you're right, when you think about someone feeling red, their blood is boiling, they're angry. Right. But the actual, I'm feeling red, that phrase doesn't really occur, but the one blue does. Okay. Really, and we only, we're not looking at things that are possible. So it's possible, it might be possible to say it is red, but it doesn't happen. So we're not looking at what is theoretically possible. We're looking at what actually happens. And we're looking at how words take on meaning from their context of use. Okay. And that's where Firth's very, it's long quoted phrase, a word is affected by the company that it keeps. And that's pretty much the foundation for corpus linguistics. I've referenced here Wolfgang Teuber from 2005, who put out a manifesto of corpus linguistics. And for those of you who are interested, it is a good read. Go and have a look. And he sets out a number of, if you like, principles or a number of standpoints that existed at that time in corpus linguistics. And it was very much about the importance of frequency as a parameter, as what we are interested in are recurrent patterns, co-occurrence of words, okay? Words that go together, words that frequently go together. And we can think of ones that are very fixed. We can think of things like, well, I'm here in the north of Ireland, so I'm instantly going to say fish and chips. Fish, and I'm always hungry, so I'm going to say fish and chips. So fish and chips is a very fixed phrase. But there are other words so fixed, meaning that they very, very frequently co-occur with one another. So much so that they almost become a chunk of language. They occur so often together that they've actually, if you like, they've become concrete, fixed. And that when we look at examples of language in use, we see that happening a lot. We see patterns a lot about how words prefer the company of other words. I just want to skip through to another example here, which I hope I have. Okay, just to give you another example, right? So this is the use of pretty as an adjective. Pretty not meaning, you know, nice and lovely, but pretty meaning quite or moderately. So it's quite cold, or it's quite, you know, how are you today, Udi? Oh, I'm pretty good. You know, so that's how it's being used. But you can see, so pretty, so I'm pretty lucky, I'm pretty good, I'm pretty cool. But no, but you can see here, what's the preference? So looking at a corpus, so large instances, we can see that pretty, being used as an adverb, prefers the company of good. Okay, it overwhelmingly prefers the company of good. So words take on their meaning from their associates, from their, if you like, the words that they occur with, and they kind of stick together a little bit. They like them and they stick together. Okay. So that's just an example of, to show you what I mean when I say that words take on the meaning. The word is affected by the company that they keep. And that's pretty much what's most fundamental to corpus study. What also is particularly important around frequency is that growing research, both in first language acquisition and second language acquisition, seeing how important frequency is in relation to acquiring a language. Okay? So that's not just about the more often that you hear something, the easier it will be to learn. It's not just about that, but it is about how frequently certain items co-occur with one another, and whether or not they actually become so tightly bound together that they become fixed. They become fixed phrases, they become units, lexical bundles, call them whatever you like. I've got some of them listed here. The beauty, I think, of using corpus linguistics is that searchable items in a corpus, they may be one word, but they don't have to be. You can search multi-word units. There is no privilege of the boundary of a word as a unit. Okay, so the word's not always your unit of analysis, right? There's no privilege on that. And of course, there's discussion to be had that when we talk in spoken discourse, do we talk in words anyway? How do we know? Okay, so again, some of the ways in which we might want to think about what it is that we're doing with language. Okay.